Welcome back. I'm your host, Julian. My name today is Phantom, and this is the rarest name that I have because usually the topics that correlate with this name is the hardest for me. I'm not here by myself. Tyler is still away, but I have Cristiano.
My pleasure to be on the show, and I'm excited to chat to you. Thank you so much.
Yes, no, I actually really am looking forward for this conversation. But before we get into the main question of everything, how was your last 7-ish days?
The last 7 days were insightful, I should say, emotionally challenging at times, and physically challenging as well, because I'm preparing for a fitness race. So it was a good mix of the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, the shadow, and all of the above.
Wow. So how you said a fit was what? If you don't mind me prying in just a little bit,
Oh yeah.
a fitness race? What? Because when I hear fitness, well, first when I hear race, I'm just thinking you're just running X distance. But a fitness race, what does that involve?
So it's called the Hyrox.
Okay.
It's a new sport that will take over the world pretty soon. Not many people know about it, but it's growing exponentially every year. So there is some running in it. So it's 8
Okay.
kilometers. I don't know how much is that in miles. And after each kilometers, there is a strength station. So a sled pull, a sled push, or like
Okay.
a farmer's carry with some weights, or like lunges. And it's 8 stations, and you have to complete it in the least time possible. So I've done it.
Interesting.
I've done it 3 times already. This is gonna be my fourth, and I'm gonna have to beat the previous time. So the pressure.
That that sounds very interesting. I wish you the best of luck with that.
Oh, thank you so
Wait,
much.
wait, you've done it 3 times?
Yeah.
You got it. My physical challenge will be trying to get on American Ninja Warrior if I can ever do that. Anything else in your last 7-ish days?
Uh, Lots of writing, working on my book every day, working on my
Okay.
blog, spending time in nature as much as I can, trying to ground. Yeah.
Nice. I like this. I like this a lot. I'm gonna focus like. So you write often?
Well, yeah, I'm working on my book, so
Okay.
I train in the morning early and then spend the rest of the morning until lunchtime writing 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. And then in the afternoon, I go in nature, maybe do some more writing when I get back home, and yeah, just
Okay.
simple life.
Very nice. I like it. For me, not so much on the physical aspect of side of things for sure. Um, but what's happened in my last 7-ish days. Um, oh, for one, I may or may not have potentially lost another friend. Unfortunately, there was a conversation that we were having. I understand how they interpret the situation. Didn't mean for it to, be out of malice or anything. So, hopefully, I, can salvage that friendship. But if not, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
What else has happened in my last 7-ish days? Um, I was in the forest. I'm always like out in the woods doing something. Well, not all the time, but just out in the trees all day and for work. And I enjoy every second of it. Anytime I get to be out in nature, I'm happy.
That's beautiful. What do you
Yeah,
do?
I don't know how to explain it, but I just work in nature basically.
Yeah.
Anything else happened in my last 7-ish days that is relevant? I can't think of anything. I know I just did another recording earlier this week, which like I told you, this is kind of the new system of everything, so I'm still testing everything out.
Yeah.
So forgive me if things aren't working properly like they're supposed to, like you would expect. But I told the other person, like, you get the benefit of being the first. You're fortunate and unfortunate enough to be like the early testers of me testing this new system. But that's my last 7-ish days. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but it may or may not come up.
That's okay. Maybe it wasn't important.
Very true. But with all that out the way, the question. Oh, I will also first for like for friends. I'm probably gonna get myself in trouble with one of these episodes because I have friends and coworkers listen to some of these episodes every so often. So, as you see, I'm always scatterbrained with what I have to say. But you're also catching this on a silly Saturday, so we really can have fun.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, before you continue, please know this episode contained more adult content and language than other episodes. If you prefer to have a less explicit episode, please check out any other NEQ episode that does not have this warning. With that said, carry on. But the question of the day actually comes from Cristiano, and like I said, phantom means there's usually something that I'm not really aware of. So the question is, have you learned anything from embracing your shadow side?
Many things. In a short sentence, many things. And then it expands onto professional aspects of my personality, personals, the spiritual, the emotional aspect, the sexual aspect of my being. So there are multiple ways we can look into it. But I'll give you how I got to know my shadow and what is a shadow. Firstly,
I was about to ask. I'm like, please, can you also break this down for what is the shadow side? Because again, this will have been a really great topic for my friend Tyler, but she's not here with us. But please explain.
Yeah. So the shadow side is. Firstly, I'm not the one who discovered it. Yeah, like many people before me discovered it. So the shadow side is, to make it simple, is all the traits we despise about ourselves, all the things that we don't like about about ourselves, and that we spend so much time and energy to suppress them and to get rid of them, and that's what's keeping us stuck in a loop of judgment, sabotage, doubts, lack of self-esteem, not knowing, about thinking that we know about ourselves but we actually don't, pretending to be someone else we are not. These are all traits that are part of the shadow. And interestingly enough, all these traits are the same traits most of the time that we dislike about other people too. So if we are speaking to someone or dealing with someone and we don't like what they say, we don't like what they do, even if it's not towards us, we just don't like their energy for a reason. Most of the time, the thing they do and the thing they say, they trigger us. But instead of accepting it, we create a wall in between the trigger and our reactions. So we hold ourselves slaves in a way of somebody else's power over us, because we are not honest and vulnerable enough to firstly accept and then to acknowledge those less likable parts of ourselves.
Okay.
So yeah, the first step is to acknowledge that we all have these traits that we dislike, and there's nothing wrong with them. They are part of our personality as the traits that we like. There's no difference. The only difference is that we are afraid of them, of the one that we dislikes, So we create a split in our personality. So if you think our personality as a collective,
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of pick it apart. So this part we don't like it, we put it out. This part we don't like it, we put it out, and we keep doing these process with all the things that we dislikes about ourselves.
Okay.
Um, and that's eventually what triggers our reactions to certain events, which normally are external to us.
Okay.
And then we blame other people for doing so, for saying so, and we're finding it hard to accept it in ourselves.
Okay.
So
For
that's the process that we go through when discovering about the
you,
shadow.
okay. So would it be kind of something like you like let's just say someone likes to gamble, and they are heavily addicted to it, but they try not to show people. Is that kind of in the same realm as it? If I'm or not necessarily.
Yeah, if they dislike that traits about themselves, yes, it can be an
Okay.
addiction too. It's like a drug addict. They keep doing drugs and they know it's not the good thing. It's not a good thing to do for them, and they hate that part of themselves. But they keep doing it because they don't know otherwise. And maybe they stop, but because it is an addiction, then they replace it with another addiction. They never get rid of the addiction, and
Okay.
that's the root cause of addiction too.
Okay. I'm following.
Yeah.
So okay. So how would you describe your shadow side?
So my shadow side is being the center of attention and public speaking. So I am. I used to. Now I'm working on it, and it's becoming part of who I am. I'm learning how to love that part of myself.
Mm.
So I'm gonna talk about it as if it was the past.
Okay.
So it used to be being at the center of attention, which means I was terrified by being at the center of attention, but I was secretly wanting to be at the center of attention.
Okay.
So if I was within a context that I had competence to, let's say, discuss about a topic, being a center of attention would enhance my confidence, would boost my confidence, would allow me to express organically. But within a context of something else that I didn't feel confidence and I didn't have the competence to express myself,
Mm-hmm.
that shadow part of me absolutely destroyed my sense of self-esteem.
Okay.
So it was like being the fish on the tree. Do you know that story?
I don't, but I'm laughing because I heard something about it. A fish in a tree a while back ago, saying if you see a fish in a tree, would society consider it a genius or dumb?
Yeah, that's the story. That's the essence of the story. So it related to my shadow.
Okay. Since this is a new topic for me, I'm just going to guess what my shadow side is, per se, because and which I also want to say, you saying your shadow side is being the center of attention. My immediate thought was that doesn't sound like a super terrible thing to have all the time.
Well, it's not only one, the shadow. There are multiple shadow
Mm.
sides of ourselves, and they keep
Okay.
evolving. So, this part of myself now it's integrated in my personality. That's why I'm doing podcasts. So, I wouldn't be here if that wasn't integrated.
Got you.
I got to
Okay.
the truth of that, but now it's evolving into something else. So I am understanding about, how it's affecting my sexuality or my spirituality or my emotional capacity.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I'm interested to see like what's your guess on your.
I think mine, if shadow side is probably something to do with like sex and everything. because it's something that's always like not always on the back of my mind, but I tie it into how do I put it? The things that I'm willing to do probably isn't. I'll see it as like taboo. Let's just think random. Oh, here. So something like this, right? I this is actually I got into a issue with this with a friend of mine a while back ago.
It's a perfect example then.
Yeah, so I asked the question, and it wasn't supposed to be towards this actual person. I was asking in pure generosity, but I'm like, if you had like a friend who would be willing to do something sexual to you, whatever, like no strings attached, no no complications, no issues whatsoever. Would you let this person do it? That was the question I asked. All right, and like I said, I wasn't asking it towards that person, but I do know there's certain friends that I have that I would be that person for if it was brought up to me, if that makes sense.
If they asked you or if you asked them?
If they asked me, because I also know with it being friends is like I'm not gonna actively put myself in that situation to make things awkward if they weren't asking for it.
Yeah.
Because I'll try to I want to keep my friends. That's for sure. I know that whole area makes things very complicated.
So you would be the person with no strings attached, no complication.
Exactly.
Somebody asks you to do it, you would do something sexual with them, but without all the complication.
For the most part, yeah. Of course, it depends on who and what situation I'm in at the time. Yeah. But that's what I think, because I'm hearing shadow side as something that's taboo that you try not to express, basically, right? Am I getting that right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's because, and then yeah, I think a lot of it deals with like the sexual aspect of my life.
Yes. Well, that's really courageous to say, and I can relate to everything you said because I am understanding that of myself. That's why I mentioned sexuality before, because it has affected my whole life and in a toxic way sometimes. So
you said you were toxic at sometimes?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would use it in a toxic way to
got you. Okay.
To hurt myself and unconsciously hurt people, not intentionally. Obviously, it was just lack of awareness, lack of wisdom, I guess.
Got you. Okay. And I think that's also where it comes from mine is why I say it this way is because I think about all the time, because I have the thought process like someone's always watching me. So I'm like, if someone's watching me, is this something that I should probably do or say? And I'm like, probably not. So that's how I kind of got to that my thought process too.
What sense watching you though?
Like some you ever heard the expression like act, or maybe not even an expression, but like act like someone's always watching you. So I feel like if someone's always watching or hearing me, that directs conversation sometimes of like what I'm willing to do and or say. Like I try to be on my like best behavior, if that makes sense.
So that means away from your sexual impulses.
Exactly, which I'm not gonna say is always a bad thing, because there's always a time and a place for it for sure, and sometimes it will just be very inappropriate. Like let's just say work, for example. Like I more than likely shouldn't. Like I said, someone's gonna hear this and I might put myself in trouble. But like let's just say, so like I shouldn't be sexual at work or anything. Like keep it off hours, blah 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 blah. So stuff like that.
Yeah. Taboos.
All the taboos. But I have nothing else to really say about that aspect of it. But I do wanted to know, how do you think you could bring your shadow side, make it like a positive by any chance? Like turn it into a positive. I know you said you're working on it.
Well, that's the intention. The intention of working on your shadow side is to, as I mentioned before, to integrate those parts back into your personality
Mm.
and use them at your advantage. Not to obviously not to manipulate people. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not why I said use it to your advantage. It sounds a bit, you're trying to manipulate, but that's not the goal. Use it to your advantage because on the shadow parts of yourself, that's where potential lies. If you accept even the ugliest parts of yourself
Mm.
and your fears and you're sincere with that process, then it will lead you to empowerment, and empowerment will lead you to show up fully in life, to show up authentically and unapologetically. So that's the goal of working on your shadow.
Okay.
For example, relating to what I said before, the center of attention. Like if I went honest with myself and I said, oh yeah, that's fine, I'll work on it when I'm old, or like I never work on it, I wouldn't be here talking to you, doing podcasts and expressing myself out of genuine interest in having this type of vulnerable conversation with people. And I wouldn't be writing my book. I wouldn't be doing all these things because there would be a certain feeling of unworthiness lingering still within me.
Mm.
So the intention of working on your shadow is exactly this, to allow your desire, your potential to surface and to use it.
Okay. That you also said something about manipulating and everything.
Yeah.
I relate to your story a lot actually because something that I've had in the back of my mind, kind of going off of what I said about like being always being watched and everything, or someone's always watching you. I
Yeah.
also have the mindset of like I'm gonna do what I want. Nothing truly can stop me if I really want to do something. So, but I take that into consideration. Like, let's just say I want to do something heinous, whatever heinous thing you want to think of. I want to do something heinous. If I really wanted to do it, I weigh my consequences and still do it, like hands down. But I do know, like I said, I'm gonna say guardrails that's stopping me. Like yes, I could want to do this, but I'm like, I'm not going to because the results of whatever my action may be isn't worth doing X thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, well, it means that you created the option of having a choice to yourself, which is I think a double-edged sword, because it is one of the hardest thing to do to have a choice sometimes,
Mm.
because you never know, you never know which one is the right way to go. If you decide to go for it, then you have to take the consequences, as you said. And if you don't do it, you also have to take the consequences because maybe it will become a regret later in life. Maybe
Yeah.
it will make you feel less than or like inferior. So there are positive and consequences in everything.
Yeah, but you mentioned how do you stop? Like, I can't remember how you phrased it, but you said something about like how do you? How many people do you think share your shadow side? Like, because I know we all like unique individuals and everything, but we all share something in common.
Yes, that's a great question. I think, well, like it doesn't matter what I do. I don't know what's the truth, honestly, but I think everyone has to go through a phase where they worry about what other people think.
Mm.
Because at the same time, being a center of attention means that to a degree you are worrying about what other people think of you and what you might say or what you might not say if you make mistakes, which in the end of the day nobody really cares.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So in that regard, yes.
Okay. No, I do think there's
You think
definitely.
so?
Yeah, I think there's people with the same shadow side as me, even though I'm not fully aware of my like I said, I'm not fully aware of my shadow side. I know there has to be people that that have the same impulse, I'm gonna say. But but off of these questions though, do you think you surround your friend like subconsciously surround yourself or have friends that have the same shadow side as you? Do you or
Um, that's why I'm talking to you. I feel, feel
fair?
like, well, I feel like the sexual parts, it's pretty, I can
Mm,
relate to that, you know.
mm,
Which I think, yeah, many guys have that shadow,
yeah. Mm,
impulse, whatever you want to call it, which it needs to be controlled, right? Like
yeah.
as you said, there are places for it, and there are times where you just need to acknowledge that it's a time to shut it down. But yeah, I was gonna say that humans we are more similar that we
Mm,
think of in all the aspects that makes us humans, whether it's the shadow side, whether it's the light side, whether it's the love we feel, the connection we feel. So I've read through
mm,
I don't know if you know him, Carl Jung.
mm.
Um, yeah, so he was talking about the collective shadow as well. So which
Coach.
is which is the which is the shadow of the universe, which means the shadow of humans, um, which is the commonality we have as human beings. So yeah, to answer to your question, we definitely share aspects, and the lighter one and the darkest one as well.
Okay. That actually because I was also trying to get like away from the because I know you said there was more that you had like more than one shadow in you. So I was wanting to see if you had like if you happen to like notice someone else's shadow side. But you bring up the book actually reminds me of a book that I recently read, Outwitting the Devil, um, where it basically said the same thing, where um, the shadow side of like the universe, or at least in life, in the context of the book, was kind of focused on being what's the word I'm looking for? Not mundane per se, but it's just like falling into like bad habits of like let's just say like laziness was one of them. Like you just actively choosing not to let's just say workout. Like you choose to not work out on a daily basis. You overeat stuff like that. So that's kind of what the book was saying too. Is that and you would have to overcome that to be better.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's the challenges of life.
yeah, but oh, and so with the shadow side, what would you say? What actually, yeah, you're kind of teaching me. So again, apologize for that.
No,
But
I
what
think
would you?
I think well, you spot on. You're pretty like if you didn't know before, you're pretty quick at understanding it. Right? I don't want to teach anything. I'm just sharing my journey.
Yeah, no, no, and I learned from people's journeys and everything too. So I appreciate you for that. But so if that's your shadow side, what would you say is like a positive light that you like to that you don't necessarily like to talk about?
The positive of my
Oh, like
shadow
just
side.
not positive of your shadow side and or just a positive trait of yourself, like the complete opposite of
Yeah,
the shadow side.
yeah. Um, which is an interesting topic too, because I think we also sometimes like hide from those traits that we are good at, like our truest
Mm-hmm.
nature. So that also requires a process of accepting, acknowledging, and integrating. For example, like love or like authenticity, It's not like we are influenced by society, and they're all traits that we suppress as we grow older. But that we when we were a child, we were used like so they were so natural to us to express to show up authentically in life. Um,
Mm,
so I would say one of my let's say we call it strength, just to give
okay.
it a label. I think one of my strengths is to try my best to to be truthful towards myself,
Okay. I like that.
therefore to other people.
Okay.
Because you can't be truthful to other people if you're not true with yourself. So I think I'm in that phase of my life which I am actively practicing to be truthful to myself in every situation, but at the same time, not to make it too logical. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like that.
what's your strength?
For me, my strength, I was like a strength that I like to like hide per se, is my willingness to help people.
Yes.
I not to go into any details,
Yeah.
again because but I will easily go out my way to help a friend and not never mention it again. There or and not even just a friend. I have like a soft spot for homeless people. So there, I'll say this one. There are sometimes like when we have what is it like potlucks at work or something, and I see that there's extra food. I will sometimes take that extra food and just give it to the homeless.
Yeah.
So that is, and then there's other things I have in the works that's trying to help the homeless as well. So
Yeah.
that's usually my like a strength that I try to keep hidden because I don't. On the opposite of you, I try not to be in the center of attention that way. I rather just be that shadow person where I just do a good deed and just go about my day. I can honestly tell you that is
Yeah.
my strength that I like to do often.
What drives you to do that?
I'm
Or I
huh.
should say to be that, not to
I
do that.
One part is I feel like it just is, but there's also a part of me where I feel like at some point in time I might end up in that same situation. So if I were to be in that situation, how I want other people to treat me if I was in that situation. I think
Yeah.
that's the underlying aspect of why I do it so often.
Yeah. Do you use that trait even in your daily life with friends and work, not just with homeless?
Oh yeah, I think so. Just because I see it as just being kind to people, and something that I actually took from Puerto Rico is that I noticed that everyone was like saying hi in the morning, like really having a conversation. So I actually took that back with me, and so ever since I've been going around my office before I say this often. Um, I say, like I go around and say good morning, just smile, ask them how their weekend was, stuff like that. Just so it's not like so boring and just that you're looking, just facing a computer screen all day. And then with friends, when they ask about, how I see it is when they ask about me, I'm always ask about them, like they're without hesitation. Like it could be my birthday, and they're like, "Oh, happy birthday!" I'm like, "Oh, how are you been? How are you?" Like I don't focus on me, I focus on them, and I just act. So that's how I see it at least.
Yeah. Well,
Mm. What about yourself? How do you only use your strength to benefit you, or do you have you found a way
um,
to?
I tend to, yes. I tend to. I was actually reflecting on the term selfishness
Mm,
versus selflessness just the other day, and I was journaling about it. So which I find it fascinating. Um, but to answer your question, I tend to do less um, kind gestures to other
Okay.
people. Um, I just don't pay attention to it. I'm not an asshole. Don't
Yeah,
get me
no.
wrong. I've got friends. I know how to be kind. It's just not
Your first thought,
like
right?
it's not my yeah. It's not my first option. It's not what I think about all day long.
Yeah, no, which is completely
You can
understandable.
connect with people. Um, but yeah, what I was journeying about, it was I was reflecting on selfishness, and I was thinking about all the people that they wrote biographies,
Mm-hmm.
all the people that all the artists that they paint, whether they are famous or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because sometimes I feel that selfishness is a bit of taboo as well. Like
Yeah.
if we see someone excelling at something, like there's a part of us that maybe I'm talking for myself, but I know people can relate. Maybe there's a part of ourselves that's envious of that,
Mm.
jealous of that, which is also part of the shadow side. So I was thinking, why do we hold so much respect to these famous artists, like authoritative figure, and why do we hold our friends or people that we know sometimes slaves of their own
Mm.
artistic
Yeah.
gifts, and we envy them, but we don't envy the famous artist. So I was thinking to myself, if you were to meet the artist, would you go there and tell them you're selfish because you painted the Mona Lisa, or would you go there and thank them because they gave you a glimpse of faith, of hope in humanity, and the creative power?
Mm.
That was where my reflection came from,
Very
and
interesting.
that's a bit how that's a bit how I am evolving in this phase of my life, taking responsibility for that, for those gifts that I'm discovering about myself, and not shying away from them.
Okay.
But I know that eventually I will get to a point where I'll be able to share those gifts, with more kindness, with love, not just because myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Something you said though that made my gears in my head turn about if you saw like that artist right next to you, why don't we do it with friends? I feel like that is because of the closeness. It's kind of like if you saw like let's just say like a famous athlete and he's like, well, you will never, chances are you will never meet that person whatsoever, but because your friends are so close to you that you have not a sense of entitlement, I won't say, but you, it's like you're comparing yourself to your friend. Something like how you were saying before, how it's in closeness we like criticize and the thing that we uh, judge our friends off of because of how close they are to us.
Yeah, because you live them, so you just don't see them in television.
Yeah, so I think that even though you didn't ask, that's just something that I thought of
That's
why
very
we
insightful.
why we treat friends, I guess to a in a sense into a higher degree than we see people that we physically can't touch. Uh,
Yeah.
that's just my own
What,
personal thought to it.
what do you think that dynamic comes from with our friends?
With our friends, huh?
Why sometimes it's hard to, elevate them, or not to compare ourselves to them, and just like unconditionally be there, I guess.
I think what, huh? Let me. Why it's so hard to? I think it's because we act in a way we want. I think it's twofold. I think we want better for our friends because we could see their potential. Um, because just imagine a friend saying, being scared of like being in the talent show, when you know behind the scenes they have amazing singing voice, but they just won't show up on stage whatsoever. So it's like you're trying in your manner trying to push them to be the best versions of themselves that they can that you see, but it's also in the same breath you can't control them. So you wish them the best, but and you get frustrated when you see that they aren't living up to to their potential.
Yeah. So like in a way, you're also projecting your imprinting onto them, even though
Exactly.
even though it originates from genuine intentions.
Mm, yeah, no, that's my thought at least.
Yeah.
And you said you agree, or do you think anything different?
Um, I think I'm on the same page. There must be other dynamics playing, but not on top of my mind right now.
Yeah, that was just my immediate thought of how I think about that. But
Perhaps about cultural imprinting or society,
that is true.
comparison, nature, especially these days, where you're
Yeah.
always like stimulated to be successful and be better than everybody and all that crap.
Yes.
Can I say crap?
No, I do agree because I think that's also part of how you mentioned in today's age with social media, how everyone sees or shows their highlights of, oh, I'm travel to this location, whatever, or I have this car, but there's no behind the scenes work of like, hey, I spent like 5 weeks working overtime on the weekend getting to afford this. So I think that's also part of it is that we only see like when people are at their best, or now people show that when they're at their best, or like a highlight is
That's
also
the
fun.
shadow side of social media, which makes it even harder to acknowledge our human shadow, and that's the issue as well. It's not just us with us. It's also us versus the social media. It's us versus society and what they want you to believe. So it becomes so hard to even acknowledge all those traits that we talked about before.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about a shadow side. Not even going, but just you. It's not just you versus you. It's you versus everything. Never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't like to say I don't like to I used to think about like it's me versus me, like having that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I rephrased it for myself, so I like to say it's me with me, because
Oh, I like
I'm
that.
not competing with myself either. And that's something else that would keep me stuck in the past, because I had to be better of my former self. Like living with that mindset becomes lots of pressure on yourself, and it's not healthy. Again, there is a place for it. So if, when I'm doing the race, I'm going to push myself. But if I'm talking to like we are doing, or if I'm talking to other people, I don't have to compete with anybody, not even with myself.
I like that because I think the other shadow side of me, going off your comment of how you don't like to use me versus me. That's actually something that I've had for I don't even know when. Is because for like doing me getting physically healthy, I always like to think of like I have to be able to beat myself, because if I can beat myself, then I can beat anyone.
Yeah.
So but you saying it's me with me, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong if you want to push yourself,
Oh yeah.
learn more, and do races, physical races, or whatever you're into. But it depends what sort of mindset you approach that with.
Yeah, no, very, very true. Oh, and then I was just saying with the shadow side, I think another shadow mine is I'm hesitant about this one because I might be picking up a friend of mine desire as well. So because I know I've noticed I tend to pick up my friends' traits and everything. So I'm wary about saying this one, but like the ability wanting to fight. Um, because I'm not someone who will play. Like I can't play fight. It's either I'm serious or I'm not, and there's
Yeah.
no in between. So I think that's another shadow side of mine that has to be I have to dive more into is fighting for sure.
As in, like wanting to actually fight,
Yeah, yeah, but
not for having fun, just like to beat somebody up.
something like that. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's. But like I said, I have to be wary because I might be thinking of my friends and adopting my
Yeah.
friends' desires as well. Because
Yeah.
with the fighting aspect, I do want to be able to protect. Kind of still going off of like my strength is like I do want to be able to protect the people I care about for sure. So and if I can't, I feel like if I can't do that, I will. Yeah, if I'm in a situation where I need to protect them and I can't, would probably like devastate me.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
it's still genuine intention, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I don't have any more questions for you as of right now, unless you have anything.
Um, well, probably like following up on what you said. Yeah.
About me, the fighting side, or me like adapting my friend's desire, or you're not sure.
Oh yes, correct. Yeah, I was gonna say that's you're really yeah you are aware because it's a thing like absorbing other people's desires and anxieties or like worries, but in your case it's you feel like it's more like a shadow thing.
Oh, just a little bit because, and like I said, I have to. I'm still not aware of the shadow side so much. I would have to like do more. I'm more of a deep dive into it, but just for this
Yeah.
conversation, it's like, yeah, no, I'm a very physical person for sure. Let's see, like when I was younger, like somewhere in like high school or something, I always wanted to just jump. And going into college, I always just wanted to jump over people. Like it doesn't matter how tall you were. Like I wanted to just jump over you, or race you or something. So that there's always that. But I wouldn't call that a shadow side per se because I actively would express people
Oh
to
yeah.
people like, oh, let me do X, Y, and Z. I I guess this is a question for you. Is the shadow side is it only something that you try to hide, or can it be something that you just can't express? Like in my situation, where like I tell people, but I can't always do it. Do you have an answer for that?
I think if I'm getting your question correctly, I think um, if you're expressing something that you think might be a shadow, then it doesn't become a shadow anymore.
Okay, I like
Because
that.
if you're expressing it, it means that has no power over you. Yeah. So unintegrated shadow means it is controlling you in a way.
Okay.
For example, our sexual impulses sometimes
Mm.
they they control you when it's so strong and too hard to control that you just can't do it. You have to act on it. That's if it makes you feel bad
Good.
in a
Mm.
way afterwards, then it was you follow the wrong impulse. If it made you feel okay with it, like aligned, if it made you feel it was the right thing to do, then you follow the right impulse.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say I never asked myself that question, so thank you for asking it. But yeah, it's if you're expressing it, then there has no power over you. And the funny thing is that if you are the first one to be honest to yourself about the traits that you don't like, then you become untouchable to other people's critique of you.
That is true.
Because when you acknowledge something that you don't like in yourself, and then you get somebody else telling you that, like it's fine. Like you already know. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to. They have no
Okay.
power over you anymore.
That no, I like that because that's actually something that I kind of do when I make like jokes about myself.
Yeah.
Because my name is Julian, right?
Yeah.
And so when I tell people my name, what I get them to remember is like you seen the movie. Literally, what I say is you seen the movie Madagascar, right? Or you heard of it?
Yeah, I heard of it, but I didn't see it.
Okay, but there's a character called King Julian, and he's a lemur. So I'm like, if you've seen, it's a way to connect. And then the like behind, there are two behind the scenes like that's going on in my mind. It's like, all right, first I'm calling myself a monkey already, so it's like you can't call me that. Like I already did it myself. But I'm also use it as a way to say I'm comparing myself to a king. So it's like I can take it, I can play with it that way. So I understand that completely.
That's an archetypal conversation.
Yeah, I have a lot of deep thoughts like that sometimes. Oh no, well, I'm not sure, but that's just something I'm like, oh, just so people can't hold power over me. That's something that I do because early like middle school or something, I would always I can't remember why I'm about to go on a tangent. So,
That's
but like I would always take people's like phones or something, things like real simple things that can't really be replaced. And so I would introduce myself as like the thief. That way it's like, all right, cool, you can't hold like incriminate me and like no, here's I really don't know why I started talking about this. But oh, that's why. Knowing because I knew from I was always take people's things, but I wouldn't like actually take it. I would give it back, and I realized I just wanted a reaction from people. So once people stopped reacting to me, I stopped taking their stuff because I'm like, that's all I really wanted. I just wanted to see how you react to things.
It's like pushing boundaries.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I'm someone who will easily. I will say this. I will push a boundary. I will see how far I can get. I will never intentionally cross a boundary. That's where my line is drawn. I will never intentionally cross your boundary. I always try to push.
We have more in common things that. What do you think you do that? Pushing boundaries. Is it just to get a reaction or to get a sense of create an identity or like a sense of self in a way, self-esteem?
I never questioned why, but I guess for me it was more so. I really, I have to think on that one. My immediate answer is I just wanted to see the reaction. There was no, because I'm like, all right, I guess it's kind of in a terrible way of explaining this. It's me trying to test where I am in the friendship. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can. I'm like, is this acceptable? Is this not acceptable? That way I kind of know how far I can go because I know everyone's different. So I'm like, all right, again, not trying to manipulate anyone, not trying to cross any boundaries, but it's like, all right, I'm like, I can have this. Let's just say I can have this conversation with you, but I know I can't have it with another person because I'm not there yet, and so I think that's kind of why I do it, is just to see how far I can go. It's to broaden my horizon. Yeah, just to kind of broaden what I can talk about or what I can do and what I can say.
Is it something that you do from the beginning of a relationship or when you know somebody for the first time, or is it something that you build?
Honest answer, it depends on the situation, because I know recently I just met someone that I did like and everything, and I was pushing that boundary just to see how far I can go. And with that, they like was fully out there. I told them how I felt. They was like, not now. I'm like, all right, cool. But at least we've had that conversation. So now I know. I'm like, all right, I can fall back here, and I in theory should still be safe. But in other situations where when I have no interest in the person whatsoever, I'm take it slower, just to. It's something that I talked about is like building trust, because I have made a quote actually that trust is the byproduct of risk. So I'm not trying to push so much out there to where it's overwhelming, I'm gonna say, to where it's like, all right, actually never mind, I just don't want to do this. So it all just kind of depends on where my intentions are, but I try to gauge it. Respect, no matter what, respect is always in there. Like if I know you're going through something, or if today, like I know it's not a bad day. Today's not, you haven't been having a good day. I'm probably want to just push that boundary, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Is it something that shows up within a romantic context specifically, or
No,
in any context?
in romantic context for sure. But it's just I realize it is actually just in everything that I do. Because like I said, these the questions I've asked here and in past episodes, and just questions that I think of them, and sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a good question to ask, even though, and I could be blinded by the question. No, not that. Even though the question is hard hitting, I will say, because I would ask questions like, do you think you grew up the way your parents wanted you to? Something that's just like hard hitting like that. So me is just I have the question, and it's also a part of me wanting to seek knowledge just a little bit, just because I like to hear how other people perceive the world. So I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, you're not coming from a provoking place, but you're coming from like interest and curiosity.
Exactly, but I know it doesn't always come off that way. That, and I do account for like other people, and usually, so the times where I have gone too far, I take it from the person's perspective, not just what they're hearing, like their perspective on me, but also try to go back into like what I know about them, like how they were raised, how like the society, what culture they were around, just to kind of get an answer of like, oh, why was this taking the way it was, if you know me. But that's just me.
Yeah, you just considerate both sides.
Yeah, because like I said, I know the things that I do ask are heavy, and not everyone's willing to have such an open conversation. So when it's taken wrong, I'm like, okay, I messed up. It's like I asked for the why. I'm like, why did this happen in this way with the information that I have?
I don't think it's your mess though. I think it's you're just carrying your curious self around. And then if somebody doesn't want to talk about it, you didn't create any mess. Like it's a boundary, and you just need to respect it, and maybe try again when you build the trust again. Yeah,
that's exactly what I attempt to do. Once I realize, I'm like, oh, my bad, didn't mean to take it like this far. I see how you see it. If you feel like talking to me again, I'm here. Like I try not to. That's the other thing. I try not to force people to talk to me, because I know if people want to talk to me, I have no way. I have not blocked anyone. So if you wanted to get in contact with me, I'm like, you can. I'll let you work whatever you have to work out on your own time.
Yeah. You got something to learn from me then.
Thank you. That actually means a lot. But this is just me. I'm telling you, this is truly just me. But
Oh yeah,
um,
that's like it goes back to like when you share about yourself, you learn anyway. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I think I got that one from TV because I've learned a lot from the world through the aspects of TV, like what is right and what is wrong, mainly through cartoons. So
yeah.
and that has definitely shaped the version of myself that I am right now.
Mm. You have a curious and multifaceted mind for sure.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to ask? Because like I said, we have all day. Like I don't want to take up too much of your time.
That's fine. Like I think we've discussed a few topics in depth. Yeah,
Very, very
and
true.
it was
So
fun as well. So thank you for your openness.
thank you. No, again, thank you for wanting to be here, sharing this conversation. The floor is yours. If you want to share anything, talk about anything, the floor is yours. You got it.
Well, yeah, I guess about my book. So it's called Awakened by the Forest. It is a book I've started after I've done my ayahuasca experience in the Amazonian jungle in the end of 2024. And it is a book that talks about my experience with psychedelic and how that links to my childhood traumas, and how it's allowing my integration to unfold and to reshape my present, therefore my future. Hopefully, I can get it published by October, November. So I'm working on the editing at the moment, and I've got 2 blog pages on Substack.
Okay.
So one page is called the Hybrid Soul blog, where I share and write about everything that I want to without filters, from sexuality, spirituality, psychedelics, shadow, all the things that we discussed in more depth, more details. And I've just created another page which is called Oniric Lives, where I share about my oniric experiences, dreams, and I help people to get more intimate with their dreams and how to develop intuition and guidance based on dreams in a waking life too, and eventually how to interpret them at the same time. And then people, if they want to get in touch with me, I'm open also on my Instagram page. I share poems or like brief stories and updates. So thank you for giving me the chance to I guess showcase my platforms.
Yes, no, of course. Definitely send it to me. I'll have it all in the description and everything. So
Yeah.
anyone can always find you if they click on this episode. They will always have a way to get to you.
Cool. I
Mm.
appreciate it so much.
Yeah, of course. And I've seen your Instagram. I went reviewing you, and I'm like, this is. I looked at you, and I'm like, this. You seem very funny. I will tell you that much. But
Okay, thank you so much.
but before I let you go, something I like to do is the thing. My thing is always a quote, just because I've been collecting quotes for years now. But the thing is, it actually comes from Charlemagne the God. The thing is, the content of your character is your choice. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you become.
Well, mic drop.
But no, that is the episode. I like to give a send off by saying, don't forget to ask yourself, ask others, and never stop asking questions. See you.
Beautiful.